Poštovani gledaoci, ekipa federalne televizije nalazi se u rezidenciji države koja je mnogo puta i deklarativno i praktično pokazala posvećenost sigurnosti i stabilnosti Bosne i Hercegovine. U nastavku razgovaram sa ministrom Velike Britanije, gospodinom Stevenom Doughtyjem. Minister Doughty, good afternoon and welcome to Sarajevo.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
It's clear that the United Kingdom is a friend to Bosnia and Herzegovina and that we enjoy your support in international circles. What will that support look like in the future?
Well, our support for Bosnia and Herzegovina is multifaceted. Firstly, it's about ensuring peace and stability here in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also across the wider Western Balkans. And we obviously play a key role as one of the guarantors of Dayton, working through the PIC and working with people from across all institutions and communities here in Bosnia and Herzegovina as a trusted and open and equitable friend. And I think that is the crucial first priority. The second one is that we're a friend when it comes to the economy. We're a big investor here in Bosnian stocks. We're also engaging in a whole range of different sectors, and we're looking at further opportunities about how we can support, for example, infrastructure investments here and indeed across the wider region. And thirdly, we're also committed in supporting a range of other initiatives, including support for women and girls and dealing with sexual violence, domestic violence, and also working in a range of other sectors, looking at things like energy transition, looking at how we can build a peaceful but also prosperous society here. So it's a partnership that stretches across many different fronts. It's one that's thriving, and I really welcome the contribution that we've been able to make over many years.
You mentioned investments. Can we speak about some concrete projects in that field, I don't know, private or public investments from UK?
Yeah, so one of the areas that we're particularly interested in looking to support is transport infrastructure and indeed energy transition. So we're looking at a range of projects across the Western Balkans where we can engage with our transport and infrastructure companies. I've had very constructive conversations with your government here and indeed neighbouring governments, including in Serbia, about, for example, transport connectivity between Sarajevo and Belgrade. There's also work we're doing in other parts of the region. And also, crucially, as the whole world needs to find new ways forward for energy security and clean energy transition, again, the UK is a leader in these areas, and we want to look to partner alongside Bosnian companies, communities and indeed the government here.
So fields that UK really can help to Bosnia?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you comment on the current situation with High Representative in Bosnia and Herzegovina? There is currently an acting High Representative. How do you see the development of all this situation with the selection of the new High Representative, and which role gonna have UK in all the story?
Well, I think the first thing to say is that we remain absolutely committed to the role of the High Representative, and indeed that High Representative having the necessary powers, including bomb powers, to do their job. And obviously we want to be able to see peace, stability and development of institutions here over the years ahead. But until those 5+2 conditions are met, it's important that we have the structures in place to uphold Dayton and to ensure that we're moving forward on a positive basis. So the UK will always act in close coordination with international partners here in Bosnia and Herzegovina, of course working closely with the United States, with the European Union, with individual European countries, and of course crucially with all institutions and governments here in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And that's been very much the message that I've conveyed today to leaders, and I will be conveying throughout my visit. So we support the role, we support the institution. I want to thank the outgoing High Representative Schmidt for his work and tenacity over many years. It was a pleasure to meet with him today, and I'll be meeting the acting High Representative later on to again show our support and our commitment to their role and indeed their powers. When they need to exercise those powers, they know that they will have the backing of the United Kingdom.
What do you think who's gonna be new High Representative, Landi or?
Well, it's not for me to comment on individual candidates, but what I will say is that it's important that we have a candidate that enjoys not only the confidence of all communities here in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also all the international partners, and crucially, of course, that they have the competencies and experience needed to do the job. This is a crucial role. It's one that has evolved over many years, and it's got some important challenges going forward. But of course, the role of the High Representative is only one part of Bosnia and Herzegovina's future, and we want to see obviously the necessary steps forward and crucial reforms here as well, and also further steps forward to put Bosnia and Herzegovina on a clear Euro-Atlantic path. And we stand ready to work alongside partners in that endeavour, whether it's in relation to NATO or whether it's in relation to a European future. And obviously decisions about accession to the EU are for the EU and Bosnia and Herzegovina. We're no longer in the EU, but I work closely with EU partners, and we have a key part of our new relationship with the EU is a focus on how we work together in this region, and particularly in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
How do you see the role of Bosnia and Herzegovina in the region? How important actually are we? High-ranking leaders from Europe, from the rest of the world, characterize us oftenly as a very important, extremely important link. What is your opinion about that?
Well, it's a very, very important country, and I think it's got a very, very important example to show as well, coming out of the terrible conflicts and violence of the 1990s, and pioneering a new way of working here and bringing together people from very different identities and backgrounds, has a lot to show to the whole region, and indeed it's something that we share in our own experience. I was delighted to host leaders from across the Western Balkans as part of the Berlin process in Northern Ireland, and I think both Bosnia and Herzegovina, indeed we in the UK, have a lot to share with others about dealing with the challenging issues of legacy and of past conflict, but also about how we get forward to focus on the things that matter to our citizens, on the economy, on education, on infrastructure, on energy transition. These are the things that people care about in their daily lives, the price they're paying for things, how they can travel, how they can build businesses. It's what our young people aspire to. So I think Bosnia and Herzegovina has a huge amount to share with people. I was hearing about brilliant work in film and TV in this region, and the film festival, and actually also some of the work we've done together on tackling serious and organised crime, on tackling people trafficking networks, and as I said, on violence against women and girls. I think there are unique perspectives and experiences here where there have been successes, much more to do, but where we're going to work together, not just for Bosnia and Herzegovina, but actually for the wider region.
All of us in the region, we know what conflict is, what war is. Is the Western Balkans now in this geopolitical moment under the threat?
Well, it's clear that Europe as a whole faces a consistent threat from Russia. It's very clear both in their illegal and barbarous war in Ukraine, but also the hybrid activities that they're undertaking across our continent, and that ranges from disinformation to cyber attacks to other attempts to destabilise countries across the continent, that we need to stand together. And that's why I really welcome the work that we have done with governments here and indeed institutions here to build security and stability. The work that we do with the armed forces here in Bosnia and Herzegovina is very important, that we've been involved in. But as we know today, it's not just the conventional threats we face, it's also in information, in cyberspace and other areas. So we need to work together. And of course, we all face challenges, whether it's from serious and organised crime, whether it's from terrorism, whether it's from other forms of destabilisation. And that's why we need to come together as Europe. And I always say that part of our government's aim to reset our relationship with Europe was not just about the EU. It was about playing a consistent and active role here in the Western Balkans, with our friends in Ukraine and Moldova, in the Caucasus, and in a range of other environments, because the challenges we face are continent-wide, and they're going to affect all of us in the years to come.
Let's talk a little bit wider. Actually, where are the conflicts on the Middle East leading the world? Actually, which have long ceased to be a problem limited on just that area.
Well, we've been obviously very engaged on a number of the different and complex situations and indeed tragic situations that we've seen across the Middle East over the past 2 years, and whether that's the appalling scenes that we've seen in in Gaza, whether it's the illegal settlements in the West Bank, whether it's the terrifying situation in Lebanon at the moment, whether it's been the conflict between the US, Israel and Iran, and of course the situation that is impacting all of us economically and our societies, which has been the closure of the Straits of Hormuz. And that's why we have been at the forefront of efforts to get the straits back open, secure, without tolls, protect that freedom of navigation that we all rely on, and to find a de-escalatory solution to that crisis. And hopefully we've seen some progress on that in recent days. But we remain committed as a force for peace and stability in the region, in support of a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. We've recognised Palestine, and we're going to work with all international partners to ensure that we have a peaceful and stable region, because the crisis in the Middle East doesn't just affect the citizens and the people there, death and destruction that it's brought, but it also affects all of our societies as well, economically and in other ways. So we will remain at the forefront in the United Nations and in other bodies, and as I said, particularly that focus on getting the straits reopened.
What state will European and other major economies be in after current conflicts, especially in the Middle East? Will the economy go past a point of no return? Maybe we're gonna have a repeated 2008, or maybe you can see some third scenario.
Well, look, I'm confident about the capability of many of our economies to weather these storms. I mean, we've actually seen growth in the UK. We're seeing the impact of decisions our government has taken economically in the United Kingdom. But what is clear is that, particularly when it comes to energy security, when it comes to the security of key supply chains, when it comes to global financial stability, we need to do much more to invest in diversifying our sources of energy and supply chains, and making sure that we've got the capability to fund and support our key industries going forward. And that's why it's really crucially important that the UK is engaging with economic partners across Europe. We are still close geographical neighbours. We have many ties. There are many ties between businesses here in Bosnia and Herzegovina and the UK, and of course communities that have existed over the last decades. And we need to ensure we're also putting that infrastructure in place across Europe, whether that be transport links or energy links or communication links, to underpin our economies and our economic resilience across the continent. So that's why that's a key focus for us in this region. But I think all of those crises have taught us a number of lessons, and not just what's happened in the Middle East now, but of course the COVID pandemic as well, and the impact that's had.
Yeah, everything started with COVID, all these economic problems and crises. So pretty optimistic message in the end of this conversation. Minister Doughty, thank you so much for this interview and for your time.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here.
Poštovani gledaoci, hvala vam na pažnji i doviđenja.